Hello, everyone. It's Michelle here with another success story. Today, we are talking to Samit, who recently passed his IELTS test. Hi, Samit.
Hi, Michelle.
Can you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell us where you're from, what you do for a living.
Sure. So my name is Samit. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm currently living in the capital city, Dhaka. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I've joined this course back in November 2020. And the reason for taking IELTS is to immigrate to Canada. I just want to get that score.
Excellent. Now, can you share your latest scores with everybody? What did you get on your last IELTS test?
This was my first attempt, to be honest, and I got a Band 8. I got an 8.5 in listening, 8 in reading, 7 in writing, and 7.5 in speaking.
That's excellent. And Samit, what was the most difficult part for you?
So this is a two-part answer. My answer will be in two parts. The first one was with reading. When I began the IELTS journey, I faced difficulty with reading. I was overconfident with my writing, but then that soon changed when I started getting the feedbacks with my mistakes. Then I realized that writing is the most essential part that needs more focus. So I overcame my problems with reading, and then eventually, step by step, my writing improved.
Let's talk about reading first, because a lot of students struggle to increase their reading scores. What did you have to improve so that you could increase your reading score?
So I basically tried to implement Chris's strategy to, keep just figuring out where I'm making the mistakes and why I'm making those mistakes. So I figured out that I was struggling with matching headings, true, false, not given, and at times with MCQs. So I figured out that I need to work on these areas. But after a while, I realized that I need to improve my reading speed. And surprisingly, that improved after I worked on my listening. So what happens with listening is that you need to finish reading ahead before the recording starts. So that, and you have to really focus on it. And that really helped me speed up my reading. And that eventually helped me with my reading.
Yeah, so reading faster actually helped you in listening and reading.
And reading a line only once, and you're just getting it with just one read.
So you mentioned matching headings and true, false, not given questions. Yeah. Now, a lot of students struggle with these. And you also said that you had to figure out why you were getting these questions wrong. So reading speed, I mean, if you can read faster, that definitely helps. But was there any other reason why you were getting matching headings wrong? Why you were getting true, false, not given questions wrong?
Yeah, with matching heading, I think the problem was with the strategy that I was implementing. I would just read the whole passage and I would get lost into it, and I would get confused with which heading to choose. But then I applied Chris's strategy, to write down the short answer, the short ideas that you get from a para. You write it down and then you follow it up. That significantly improved my scores, but I still wasn't getting that 100% correct. I had to play around a bit with the strategy. I figured I just sort of brought my own idea into it. I mean, I would just, the Chris's idea was to, read every passage, read every para, make a comment, and then match it up with the headings later on. I did it with one para at a time, and I would just eliminate. I would use this strategy from the matching from the MCQs to eliminate the wrong answers, and I would just gradually come towards the right answer. And that mixing these two strategies really helped me overcome the matching heading problems.
Did you find it difficult to make your own headings for the paragraphs?
Yes, when I began, there would be, I would feel that there are two ideas, and I would struggle to which idea to focus on. So when I took it one para at a time, then it sort of, the problem faded away.
So a lot of students, even after they learn Chris's strategy for matching headings questions, still tend to use headings and then try to match them because it's so hard to make your own heading for a paragraph. So what advice would you give a student who knows they should be making their own headings first, but they just can't do it?
Writing down the idea that the first time you're getting after reading a para, it's really essential because it allows you to, it forces you to think deeply about the meaning of that para. So it's essential. It really cannot be skipped. At least for me, I didn't skip it. So that needs to be done.
I completely agree with you. And it's not just about trying to find a key word in the paragraph.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've got to think
exactly
about it. Yeah.
And just eliminating the wrong answers. You just eliminate the wrong ones, and then you eventually come to the right one.
And
even if you're confused, you leave it for later, and eventually the other ones will match up. So it's just like a map.
Yeah.
It eventually adds up. Yeah.
And what about for true, false, not given? Why were you getting those questions wrong?
Because the problem with true, false was that I wasn't able to just get towards the right portion of the passage. Which portion of the passage it's really about. So figuring out and going towards it just helps you, just overcome it.
And how did you improve that weakness? So you couldn't find where in the passage the answer was located. So how did you improve that weakness?
When I was under the time frame or a time limitation, I would panic. So first of all, I just didn't focus on the time and focused on going towards the right area, just do it properly every time, and then eventually the speed came up.
Yeah, a lot of students make the mistake of focusing on the time and the time limit, but the time is not the goal. The band level is the goal.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
Did you have to improve your vocabulary in order to increase your reading score?
No, I think my vocabulary was fine, and even in correction services, on average I would get an 8 in vocab, so I really didn't face much difficulty.
So you're getting 8 for vocabulary, but you still had to work on other areas of writing.
Yeah,
so you could increase your score.
Exactly.
So what key mistakes did the teachers tell you were making in your essays?
Well, when I began sending my writings, my ideas were all over the place. I didn't focus on a simple idea. I mean, it took me time to realize how simple is. So I just had to, focus on just one idea or two ideas when the question asks for it, and just staying on that point and developing the answer, giving the example later on. So it's just doing that step-by-step process. And it reached a point when the structure sort of stuck in my head, and I would know exactly what to do right after which sentence. And that led to me quickly finishing the answers.
So how did you get to that point? Because the thing that you just talked about the ideas being all over the place, and a lot of students struggle with this in the beginning. And you said eventually you realized how simple actually.
Simple is,
How did you get to that point? Like, what advice would you give to someone who's currently struggling to generate relevant ideas and develop those ideas logically?
To be honest, I don't think there's a shortcut to it. Writing really takes time. And when the teachers give you the feedback, when the teachers first gave me feedback, I was really disappointed that I got a 6 the first time I sent one writing, and I was really upset. Why would I get a 6? So, but eventually I tried to put beside my ego and really focus on what the feedback was given on. And I think the best way to with writing is to just focus on the areas that the teacher specifically asks you to focus on, and just work on it. I had trouble with grammar. I didn't make any great mistakes, but small mistakes with relating to articles, prepositions, and I also struggled a little bit with subject-verb agreement, and which I overcame with the other grammar modules of IELTS Advantage. So that really helped me. But it takes time. Writing really takes time.
So, Samit, what advice would you give somebody who's maybe just beginning their IELTS preparation?
To start with writing, because it takes time, and writing and listening, this really helps with the other modules, with the reading and speaking, what I found.
Excellent.
But to begin with, always start with writing. Writing takes time.
Yeah, that's what we always tell new students, is that most students take longest to increase their writing score.
I did the other way around. I started with reading because I was struggling with reading to begin with. But if I had to give advice to myself, I would definitely say, Samit, start with writing.
That's good advice. So what's next
Yeah.
for you, Samit? What's next now that you've got the IELTS scores that you need?
Yeah, the next step would be to, launch the EOI, expression of interest, and I'm just praying that the pandemic will end and the express entry draws will start taking place regularly, and I'm hoping that everything will go fine, and I'll eventually go for an academic test next time.
Okay.
So that will be sometime in the near future.
Well, you've got a lifetime membership at IELTS Advantage.
Yeah.
So when the time comes, we'll help you get that academic IELTS score that you need.
Obviously, and I'm even trying to better my score. I'll definitely try.
Yeah, why not?
Especially with writing.
Especially with writing.
I got addicted to it. Yeah.
All right, Samit, thank you so much for sharing your success story with everyone today. It was really interesting hearing about your journey and how you get the scores that you need.
Hey, Chris here again. Hopefully you enjoyed that success story video. That student was part of our IELTS VIP course. And on that course, we show students exactly where they're going wrong and exactly what to do to get the score that they need. And we give them all the help and support that they need in order to get a 7, 8, or even 9 in their IELTS test. Now, we only work with a really, really small number of students. Because of the level of help and feedback and support that we give students, we can only work with a very, very small number of them. But we also have more success stories than any other online or offline course in the world, which has created a huge amount of demand for our course. So we're the only course in the world, I believe, that has a very, very, very long waiting list. If you want to join that waiting list, all you have to do is just click here and you'll be able to add your name, add your email address, and then when one of our students becomes successful and leaves the course, the next position can be for you. Hopefully see you in there. Bye-bye.